Isang firefighting helicopter sa Chile ang biglang bumagsak mula sa ere.
Kamustahin po natin ang lagay ng piloto at kung nakaligtas nga ba ito mula sa mga detalye ng balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Ricky Mathay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alagaw Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong Huwebes ng gabi.
Bagyong Ofel tuluyang humina habang hinahagupit ang Cagayan. Bagyong Pepito papasok na rin sa Philippine Area of Responsibility ngayong gabi.
Department of Foreign Affairs pinatawag ang Chinese envoy dahil sa baselines ng Beijing sa Bajo de Masinloc.
Supreme Court sa Brazil binulabog ng 2 bombing incidents.
US President Joe Biden at President-elect Donald Trump muling nagkausap sa White House.
At halaga ng Bitcoin stock sa world market pumalo na sa higit $90,000.
Mula Super Typhoon ay tuluyang nag-downgrade sa typhoon category ang bagyong Ofel habang hinahagupit nito ang Cagayan ayon sa Pag-asa. Ayon sa datos ng State Weather Bureau, bandang alas 7 ng gabi namataan ang bagyong Ofel sa coastal waters ng Santa Teresita, Cagayan. Gumagalaw ito sa direksyong pahilagang kanluran na may bilis na 15 km per hour, may maximum sustained winds na 155 km per hour at gustiness na 255 km per hour. Nakataas ang tropical cyclone wind signal number 4 sa Babuyan Islands at northern and eastern portions ng mainland Cagayan. Signal number 3 sa Batanes, rest of Cagayan, northern portion of Isabela, northern portion of Apayao at northern portion of Ilocos Norte. Signal number 2 sa western and eastern portions of Isabela, rest of Apayao, Kalinga, northeastern portion of Abra, eastern portion of Mountain Province at rest of Ilocos Norte. Signal number 1 naman sa natitirang bahagi ng Isabela, northern portion of Quirino, northern portion of Nueva Vizcaya, rest of Mountain Province, Ifugao, rest of Abra, northern portion of Benguet, Ilocos Sur, northern portion of La Union at northern portion of Aurora. Ayon sa Pag-asa, inaasahang tatahakin ng bagyong Ofel ang daang patungong kanlurang bahagi ng Batanes at susuyurin ito ang daan patungong Taiwan. Samantala, batay sa forecast ng State Weather Bureau, inaasahang papasok sa loob ng Philippine Area of Responsibility si Tropical Storm Manny ngayong Huwebes ng gabi at tatawagin itong bagyong Pepito.
Samantala, inihayag ng United Nations o UN na lilikom ito ng $32.9 million bilang tulong sa Pilipinas dahil po yan sa sunod-sunod na mga bagyong tumatama sa bansa. Sinimulan na ng Philippine Humanitarian Country Team ng UN ang kanilang Humanitarian Needs and Priorities Plan para suportahan ang halos 210,000 kataong apektado ng mga dagdaang bagyo. Partikular na dyan ang rehiyon ng Bicol, Calabarzon at Cagayan Valley. Ang Humanitarian Needs and Priorities Plan ay nakalaan para sa rescue and protection operations sa mga vulnerable groups. Kaugnay nito ay hinimok ng naturang humanitarian team ang mga resource partners na suportahan ng plano upang makalikom para sa nasabing funding. Pinasalamatan naman ni NDRRMC Undersecretary Ariel Nepomuceno ang hakbangin ng United Nations. Sinabi pa ng kalihim na mas papaigtingin pa ng gobyerno ang pagresponde nito sa mga sakuna na tatama sa Pilipinas.
Pumalo na sa 176 na milyong piso ang halaga ng tulong na ipinaabot ng Washington para tulungan ang mga biktima ng pananalasa ng Bagyong Christine at iba pang mga kalamidad sa Pilipinas. Ipinaabot ang tulong ng Estados Unidos sa pamamagitan ng U.S. Agency for International Development o USAID. Sinabi ni U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Mary Kay Carlson, ang naturang halaga ng ayuda ay inilaan ng Washington bilang suporta sa logistics at pagkakaloob ng malinis na tubig, sanitation, shelter at financial aid sa mga residenteng apektado ng bagyo, partikular na sa Bicol at Batangas. Nakalaan din ito sa recovery program ng mga komunidad na labis na naapektuhan ng pagbaha at mga landslide dahil sa sama ng panahon.
Ipinatawag naman ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA si Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines, Wang Xilian, para ihatid ang diplomatic protest ng Pilipinas sa inihaing baselines ng Beijing sa paligid ng Bajo de Masinloc o Scarborough Shoal. Sinabi ni DFA spokesperson Maria Teresita Daza na ang naturang baselines ng China ay lumalabag sa soberanya ng Pilipinas, gayon din sa international law, partikular na sa United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea o UNCLOS at ang 2016 Arbitral Award. Saad pa ni Daza, walang legal na basihan ang naturang baselines ng China at hindi ito binding sa Pilipinas. Samantala, ipinahayag naman ng Chinese Embassy sa Maynila na sinabi ni Wang sa DFA na gagawa ang Beijing ng kaukulang hakbang upang tiyaking masiguro nito ang kanilang claim sa naturang feature sa WPS.
Nakatakdang bumisita sa Pilipinas si United States Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III next week. Layo ng pagbisita ng Pentagon Chief sa Pilipinas na ipaabot ang kanyang farewell call kay Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. at sa iba pang defense officials sa Indo-Pacific region. Ang nakatakdang pagbisita ni Austin sa Pilipinas ay ang ika-4 na beses na sa ilalim ng kanyang panunungkulan sa Biden administration. Higit sa Pilipinas, bibisita rin si Austin sa Laos, Fiji, Australia at iba pa. Inaasahang magtatalaga si US President-elect Donald Trump ng bagong defense chief bago ang kanyang pagupo bilang Pangulo ng Estados Unidos sa Enero 2025. Batay sa pahayag ng kampo ni Trump, itinuturong posible umanong maging defense chief ng administrasyong Trump si Pete Hegseth, isang veteran sa Iraq at Afghanistan War.
Nanghinga naman ng pahayag tungkol sa congressional probe kay Rodrigo Duterte. Sinabi ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na isasama sa investigasyon ng PNP at Department of Justice o DOJ ang testimonya ng dating Pangulo.
All of the testimony that was given yesterday really will be taken in and will be assessed to see what in legal terms what is the real meaning and consequence of some of the statements made by PRRD. Now that will result in a case being filed here in the Philippines. We will just have to see. The DOJ will have to make that assessment.
Humarap si dating Pangulong Duterte sa Quad Committee probe ng House of Representatives kaugnay sa drug war ng kanyang administrasyon noong Miyerkules. Sa isang bahagi naman ng investigasyon, hinamon niya ang International Criminal Court o ICC na bilisan ang kanilang investigasyon sa umano'y mga crimes against humanity na ginawa umano nito. Dagdag pa sa komento niya, sinabi ni Marcos na hindi na makikipagtulungan ang pamahalaan sa ICC. Subalit, hindi nito pipigilan si Duterte kung nais niyang humarap sa investigasyon ng tribunal.
If yun ang gugustuhin ni PRRD, hindi naman kami haharang doon sa mga ICC. Hindi lang kami tutulong. Ngunit kung pumapayag siya na makipag-usap siya o magpaimbestiga siya sa ICC, nasa kanya yun. Wala nang kaming desisyon doon.
Matagal nang inuulit-ulit ng Pangulong walang jurisdiction ng ICC sa Pilipinas mula na umalis ang bansa sa Rome Statute noong taong 2019. Gayunpaman, niliraw rin niya nga maaaring obligahin ang pamahalaan na tumulong kung hihilingin ng Interpol ang pag-aresto kay Duterte.
As Secretary Remulla explained before, we have obligations to Interpol and we have to live up to those obligations. And
Matatandaang binigyan diin din ng Department of Justice na nananatiling may obligasyon ng pamahalaan na sundin ang mga kondisyon ng pagiging miyembro nito ng Interpol. Inilabas nila ang pahayag na ito kaugnay ng mga ulat na maaaring humingi ng tulong ang ICC sa Interpol upang makakuha ng jurisdiction sa drug war ni Duterte.
Arestado ang 3 dayuhan matapos ang isang insidente ng pamamaril na ikinasugat ng isang Chinese national sa Parañaque noong Miyerkules ng umaga. Naganap ang insidente sa Barangay Don Galo kung saan binaril ang biktima na kasalukuyang ginagamot sa isang ospital sa Pasay. Tinukoy ng biktima ang mga sospek sa mga pulis na nagresulta sa mabilis na operasyon at pagkakaaresto ng 3 dayuhan. Sa pagkaaresto, nasamsam din ang 200 gramo ng hinihinalang shabu, isang 9mm na baril, mga bala at iba pa. Ang nakuhang drug evidence ay ipinasa sa Southern Police District Forensic Unit para sa karagdagang pagsusuri.
Susunod, nuclear weapon ng Ukraine. Meron nga ba?
Kaguluhan sa Amsterdam matapos sunugin ng protesters ang isang tram.
At US President Joe Biden tinanggap si President-elect Donald Trump sa White House. Mga detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Ang sinubaybayang pangunahing news.
Kahit na justified yung pagpatay ko sa kanila, alam ko, bawal pa rin yan.
Let the proper agencies already continue the investigation and pursue the case.
Magpapakuha ka ng blood pressure para pumalo yata 140.
Dapat Ali, ready ka ako, ready ako karate. Oh.
Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Dito lang sa NET25.
Together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
Ipinatigil ang Korte Suprema ng India ang tinatawag na bulldozer justice o pag-demolish ng mga bahay doon dahil lamang sa ang may-ari nito ay akusado sa isang krimen. Binigyan din ng korte na ang ehekutibo o ang pamahalaan ay hindi maaaring maging isang hukom o mag-demolish ng mga ari-arian. Anila, the chilling sight of a bulldozer demolishing a building reminds one of lawlessness where might was right. Naglabas din ng guidelines ang korte gaya ng obligado ang mga otoridad na magbigay muna ng 15 araw na abiso sa isang nakatira bago nito i-demolish ang umano'y illegal na ari-arian. Inatasan din ito ang mga otoridad na bigyan ng sapat na panahon ang mga maaapektuhan ng demolition na umalis ng bahay o i-challenge ang demolition order. Dapat ding ipaliwanag sa abiso ang mga dahilan ng demolisyon at kung hindi tumugon ang akusado sa abiso sa loob ng 15 araw, maaaring ituloy ng mga otoridad ang pag-demolish ng bahay. Ngunit dapat ay kunan nila ng video ang demolition process. Nagbabala rin ng Korte Suprema na ang paglabag sa mga guidelines na ito ay magiging katumbas ng contempt of court. Ang desisyong ito ng Korte ay tugon sa mga petisyon na humihingi ng hustisya laban sa mga otoridad na ginagamit ang demolisyon bilang isang parusa laban sa mga akusado o nahatulan ng mga krimen sa India. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, illegal construction ang sinasabing dahilan ng mga otoridad, ngunit para sa mga experts, walang logic o legal justification ng bulldozer justice na ipinatutupad ng pamahalaan.
Bilang bahagi ng Indo-Pacific Endeavour ay nagsagawa ng joint combat drills ang Australia at ang Indonesia. Ito rin po ang pinakamalaking joint military drills ng dalawang bansa sa kasaysayan. Ang 4-day military exercises na ito ay sinalihan ng 2,000 Marines at infantry personnel. Ayon kay Australian Amphibious Task Force Officer Chris Duterte, ang exercise carries Woomera ay isang kapanapanabik na pagkakataon upang makipagtulungan ang Canberra sa mga partners ito sa Indo-Pacific region. Ipinamalas na magkabilang panig ang kanilang tank, artillery at attack helicopter skills sa live fire exercises. Bukod dito, magsasanay din sila ng joint landing operations at non-combatant evacuation na magagamit nila sa panahon ng kalamidad o krisis sa Indo-Pacific.
Sinabi ni Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto na ipagtatanggol niya ang soberanya ng kanyang bansa matapos tanungin tungkol sa issue ng South China Sea. Ito ay matapos bigyan din ng kanyang foreign ministry na hindi kinikilala ng Indonesia ang mga pang-aangkin ng China sa South China Sea sa kabila ng paglagda sa isang maritime deal kasama ang Beijing noong nakaraang linggo. Sa kabila ng kanyang komento, ipinaliwanag ni Prabowo na maninindigan ang kanyang administrasyon sa pagsunod sa isang non-aligned foreign policy. Anya, hindi naghahanap ng alitan o gera ang Indonesia, kundi partnership at kooperasyon sa lahat ng bansa.
Isang katahimikan ang bumalot ngayon sa buong South Korea dahil halos kalahating milyong mag-aaral doon ang sumabak sa 8 oras na college entrance exams. Hindi umano biro ang exams na ito na kung tawagin ay Shunyong, ang Korean abbreviation para sa College Scholastic Ability Test. Kung bakit ang isang mag-aaral na Shunyong passer ay tiyak na mababago ang buhay dahil matatanggap siya sa mga top universities sa South Korea na siyang magiging daan upang makakuha ng magandang trabaho at mataas na social status. Hindi lamang mga mag-aaral o mga magulang ang naghahanda para sa exams na ito dahil maging mga otoridad ng South Korea ay iniingatan ang kapakanan ng mga exam takers. Mahigit 10,000 pulis ang dineploy sa daan. Ang iba ay inatasang asikasuhin ng mga estudyante sa oras ng emergency. 156 na flights ang nare-schedule. Bawal muna ang construction work sa tabi ng mga testing sites. Bawal din ang magbusina sa daan para hindi maistorbo o maingayan ang mga nag-e-exam. Bukod po dito, bawal din daw kantahin o patugtugin ang ilang pop songs. Ayon sa local reports, bawal umano ang kantang APT ni na Bruno Mars at Rosie, Go Go ng BTS at Ring Ding Dong ng Shiny. Baka raw kasi mawala sa focus ang ilang estudyante kapag narinig ang mga catchy pop songs na ito.
먼저 수능이 지금 보는 게 모든 고등학교 4학년이 그렇게 처음이기 때문에 굉장히 떨리긴 하고요. 그리고 제 나름대로 준비를 많이 했기 때문에 기대 또한 되는 것 같습니다.
우선 첫째 아이라서 어떻게 될지 너무 떨리고 저부터 떨리고 그리고 주변 사람들이 응원을 너무 많이 해주시다 보니까 그 기대에 좋은 결과를 부응했으면 좋겠습니다.
Sa huling pagkakataon ay magkikita sina US President Joe Biden at Chinese leader Xi Jinping sa sidelines ng Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation o APEC Summit. Tumanggi si US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan na kumpirmahin ang petsa kung kailan mag-uusap ang dalawang lider. Ngunit inaasahan ng mga analysts na pag-uusapan ng dalawa ang gusot sa pagitan ng Washington at ng Beijing.
With respect to his meeting with President Xi, I don't expect him to pass messages. Obviously, President Trump, when he comes into office, will have his opportunity to engage directly with President Xi. But I will observe that transitions are uniquely consequential moments in geopolitics. They're a time when competitors and adversaries can see possibly opportunity because you have this change in government here. And so part of what President Biden will communicate is that we need to maintain stability, clarity, predictability through this transition between the United States and China. And he will also really reinforce the point that in order for us to manage this competition responsibly going forward, we have to sustain over the long term the channels of communication at every level, particularly the military to military.
Isang briefing paper ang nagulat na posibleng makadevelop ng isang nuclear weapon ang Ukraine. Ayon sa Center for Army Conversion and Disarmament Studies, hindi kayang i-develop ng Kyiv ang uranium na kinakailangan para sa paggawa ng mga modernong armas nuklear, ay mayroon naman siyam na nuclear reactors ang Ukraine na naglalaman ng mahigit 7 tonelada ng plutonium. Sinabi pa ng mga mananaliksik na sapat ito upang bumuo umano ang Kyiv ng bomba na katulad ng Fat Man nuclear bomb na ibinagsak ng Estados Unidos sa Japan noong taong 1945. Anila, sapat ang lakas ng isang Ukrainian Fat Man bomb para sirain ang isang buong Russian air base o military. Wala pang pahayag ang gobyerno ni President Volodymyr Zelensky, subalit una nang pinabulaanan ni Foreign Ministry spokesperson Georgi Teki na hindi nagde-develop ang Kyiv ng anumang uri ng nuclear weapons.
Samantala, inaresto ng lokal na pulisya ang mga nagprotesta sa Amsterdam noong Miyerkules sa kabila ng pagban ng pamahalaan sa protesta na ipinatupad matapos ang karahasan mula sa isang football match. Mahigit 100 protesters na may dala ng bandila ng Palestine ang sumisigaw na Amsterdam is saying no to genocide at free Palestine sa gitna ng kabisera ng Netherlands. Ngunit sa kabila ng payapang pagpoprotesta, humantong ito sa kaguluhan ng magsimulang manira ng mga pampublikong infrastruktura ang ilang mga nagprotesta, kabilang ang pagsunog sa isang tram. Makikita sa footage ang may dalang mga pamalo at mga firecrackers ang mga nagpoprotesta. Di nagtagal, pinalibutan ng mga pulis na naka-riot gear ang grupo at agarang nilinis ang lugar habang ang iba naman ay mabilis na pinatay ang umaapoy na tram. Mahigit 60 tao ang arestado at 5 ang kasalukuyang ginagamot sa ospital. Dalawang bomba naman ang sumabog sa harapan ng Korte Suprema ng Brazil. Agad na dumating ang mga pulis at hinarangan ng kordon ang lugar kung saan nangyari ang pagsabog. Natagpuan sa crime scene ang isang lalaki na kinilala ng mga pulis na si Francisco Wanderly Luis. Ayon sa otoridad, posibleng si Luis ang sospek bilang natagpuan sa mga tabi nito ang mga explosives. Nakalaban din ni Luis ang dating Pangulo ng Brazil na si Jair Bolsonaro. Wala nang iba pang nasugatan sa nasabing insidente.
Nangako si Hezbollah Chief Naim Kassem na kanilang tatalunin ang Israel.
نحن لن نبني توقع وقف العدوان على حراك سياسي ولن نستجدي لإيقاف العدوان. سنجعل العدو هو الذي يسعى إلى المطالبة بوقف العدوان. أنه في الميدان خاسر وليس رابحا، وهذه الخسارة ستمنعه من تحقيق أهدافه. نحن بالنسبة إلينا كحزب الله كمقاومة خيارنا الحصري هو منع الاحتلال من تحقيق أهدافه.
Sa ginawa nitong talumpati sa harap ng kanyang mga tagasunod, sinabi nitong ipaglalaban niya ang kalayaan ng Lebanon. Sa kabila nito ay nagbigay lamang ng 2 posibilidad si Kassem kung saan patungo ang gera. Una, ang isang malaking sagupaan sa border ng Israel at Lebanon sa pagitan ng Hezbollah at IDF. At ang pangalawa ay ang pagbomba nila sa headquarters ng Israeli military.
متى تتوقف هذه الحرب العدوانية؟ أنا رح لكم بوضوح كامل قناعتنا أن أمرا واحدا فقط هو الذي يوقف هذه الحرب العدوانية، وهو الميدان بقسميه: الحدود ومواجهة المقاومين للجيش الإسرائيلي على الحدود، والثاني هو الجبهة الداخلية وأن تصل إليها الصواريخ والطائرات حتى تدفع ثمنا حقيقيا وتعلم أن هذه الحرب ليست حربا قابلة لأن ينجح فيها الإسرائيلي.
Pinuri ng Hezbollah leader na ang mga nasasawing kasamahan nila ay maituturing na mga bayani. Dagdag pa nito na ang kondisyon patungo sa isang matagumpay na tigil putukan ay inilahad na nila sa Lebanon upang makipagnegosasyon na sa Israel.
نحن لن نبني توقع وقف العدوان على حراك سياسي ولن نستجدي لإيقاف العدوان. سنجعل العدو هو الذي يسعى إلى المطالبة بوقف العدوان.
Nagbabala ang hepe ng UNRWA na isang buong henerasyon ng Palestinian sa Gaza Strip ang mawawalan ng karapatan sa edukasyon. Ito ay niya ay kung guguho ang United Nations Palestinian Relief Agency ng UNRWA sa Gaza sa ilalim ng bagong Israeli legislation. Alamin natin ang mga detalye mula kay Ashley Sakmar.
Noong Oktubre, nagpasa ng bagong batas ang Israeli Parliament na haharangin ng UNRWA na gumawa sa Gaza. Ito ay magsisimula sa katapusan ng Enero. Ayon kay UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini, kung ipatutupad ito, malasakon ng resulta ang mangyayari.
In Gaza, dismantling UNRWA will collapse the United Nations humanitarian response, which relies heavily on the agency infrastructure. Glaringly absent from discussion about Gaza without UNRWA is education. Palestinians value education highly. It is the only asset from which they have not, until now, been dispossessed. In the absence of a capable public administration or state, only UNRWA can deliver education to more than 660,000 girls and boys across Gaza. In the absence of UNRWA, an entire generation will be denied the right to education. Their future will be sacrificed, sowing the seeds for marginalization and extremism.
Muling hinimok ni Lazzarini ang UN member states na umaksyon upang huwag maipatupad ang batas na ito ng Israel. Ang UNRWA ay itinatag noong 1949 matapos ang giyera kaugnay ng pagkakatatag ng Israel isang taon bago ito. Dulot nito ang aid, kalusugan at edukasyon sa milyon-milyong Palestinians sa Gaza, sa West Bank at Syria, Lebanon at Jordan. Ashley Sakmar para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Nakatakda pong mag-inaugurate si Chinese President Xi Jinping ng isang megaport sa Peru sa Huwebes sa pagbisita nito para sa Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum. Ang Chancay Megaport ay isang proyektong nagkakahalaga ng $1.3 billion na majority-owned ng Chinese shipping giant na COSCO. Magbibigay ng malaking papel ang proyektong ito sa ekonomiya ng mundo sa bahaging ito ng desert coastline ng Peru. Gayunpaman, sinalubong ng pagdududa mula sa mga mahihirap na residente ang development na ito. Sinasabi nilang ipinagkakait nito sa kanila ang fishing spots na ginagamit nila at wala pang economic benefits ang naibibigay nito sa mga residente.
Sa kaugnay na balita, nagpahayag si UNRWA Chief Philippe Lazzarini na handa siyang makipagtulungan sa bagong administrasyon ng Estados Unidos. Si Chantal Santos para sa karagdagang detalye.
Sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni US President Joe Biden, inilarawan nito ang tungkulin ng UNRWA sa Gaza bilang indispensable o kailangan-kailangan. Subalit sa Enero, ilang araw matapos manumpa si US President Donald Trump, ipapatupad na ang batas ng Israel ukol sa pagharang sa UNRWA na gumawa sa Gaza. Kung ibabase sa unang termino ni Trump ang pakikitungo nito sa Israel ngayon, malamang ay mas solido pa ang suportang ibibigay nito kumpara sa Biden administration. Nang tanungin si Lazzarini kung lalapit ito kay Trump, isang direktang oo ang isinagot nito. Balot ng optimismo ang pahayag ni Lazzarini at sinabing kasama ng bagong administrasyon ay panibagong mga oportunidad.
We are in a new situation. Obviously, it's an understatement. In every new situation, we might see also new opportunities. To which extent is it realistic to talk about a two-state solution? for the time being, the two-state solution remains the international community and United Nations position about how to promote a solution on the Palestinian question in the region. We hear also that the new administration has made promoting peace a priority in the region. When we talk about peace, we talk also about normalization. And when we talk about normalization, we also hear that the two-state solution remains an important condition for any lasting normalization. So if you put all these elements together, I believe that would this be the pathway, that in this pathway, UNRWA would have certainly a positive role to play to make it happen if there is a firm and genuine desire to once for all address the Palestinian question.
Chantal Santos para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Samantala sa United Nations headquarters sa New York, sinalubong ni Israeli UN Ambassador Danny Danon na ang nominasyon ni President-elect Donald Trump bilang susunod na US Ambassador to Israel. Walang iba po kundi si Mike Huckabee. Narito ang report ni Cherry Recolizado.
Binati ni Israeli UN Ambassador Danny Danon ang tinawag niyang dear friend na si Mike Huckabee dahil sa nominasyon nito bilang susunod na US Ambassador sa Israel.
I want to congratulate my dear friend, Governor Mike Huckabee. I think he will be a great ambassador to Israel. He is very familiar with the facts on the ground. I think he visited Israel dozens of times. He had like a yearly visit to Israel, and I had the honor to escort him. Also after October 7th, he came, and I took him to visit the sites on Kfar Aza, Be'eri, and other locations where the massacre took place. So we will welcome him, and we will be expecting his arrival.
Noong Martes, inanunsyo ni Trump ang nominasyon nito para kay Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee bilang ambassador to Israel. Si Huckabee ay isang pro-Israel conservative at maaaring maghudyat ng US policy para sa kaguluhan sa gitnang silangan. Naging tahasan ang suporta ni Huckabee sa Israel sa buo niyang karera sa politika. Isa rin siyang tagapagtanggol ng Jewish settlements sa occupied West Bank. Ang anunsyo ni Trump ng nominasyong ito ay umani ng agarang pagpuri mula sa Israeli officials. Subalit hindi mula sa Palestinians. Ang 69-year-old na si Huckabee ay uupo sa isa sa pinakamaseselang diplomatic posts sa panahong nakikipaglaban ng Israel sa Palestinian militant group Hamas sa Gaza. Gayon din sa armadong grupong Hezbollah sa Lebanon at sa kalaban nito sa rehiyon na Iran. Tinuligsa na ni Huckabee ang pamemressure ni Biden sa Israel na pahinahunin nito ang pag-atake sa Gaza. Kontra rin si Huckabee sa kasalukuyang panawagan ng Democrats para sa ceasefire sa gitnang silangan. Cherry Recolizado para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nagkita sa unang pagkakataon matapos ang eleksyon sina President-elect Donald Trump at President Joe Biden sa White House. Bagamat matagal na magkaribal sa politika, kapwa nangako ang mga ito ng isang smooth transition of power sa White House sa darating na Enero. Rosel Feria para sa balita.
Naupo magkatabi sina President-elect Donald Trump at President Joe Biden sa tabi ng apoy sa Oval Office. Sinasabing mapayapang imahe ang ipinakita ng dalawa sa kabila na tila pinabubulaanan ng tensyon sa pagitan ng kapwa presidente. Ngayon bilang simula ng pagtupad ng kanilang pangako ng mapayapang transisyon, sinabi ni Biden na nakatanaw ang kanyang administrasyon sa pagsasalin.
President-elect and former President Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having a, like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim. You're welcome.
Sa kaugnay na balita, sinabi ng White House na ang pagpupulong ni na President-elect Donald Trump at President Joe Biden sa Oval Office ay naging very cordial, very gracious at substantive.
It was indeed very cordial, very gracious, and substantive. And I mentioned at the top, national security was discussed, domestic policy issues were discussed. I had an opportunity to speak with the president in the Oval Office right before coming out to do this press briefing, because I wanted to make sure that I got what the president wanted to share with all of you. So certainly that everything that I'm saying is sanctioned, if you will, by the president. He wanted you all to know that the president-elect, again, was gracious, came with a detailed set of questions. It was, again, substantive. But I do want to take a little bit of a step back here, because it's really important to note, and you're going to hear me continuing to say this over and over again, the importance of having a smooth transition, and importance of having an orderly transition. The president respects the will of the American people and wants to make sure that occurs. That is what he believes the American people deserve.
Ayon kay Jean-Pierre, tumagal ang pulong ng halos 2 oras. Sa pulong ni Jean-Pierre, itinulak ni Biden ang mga prioridad nito para sa Kongreso, kasama na ang government funding at ang karagdagang pondo para sa disaster relief. Kasama sa pulong ng 2 Pangulo ang Chief of Staff ni Biden na si Jeff Zients at ang katapat nitong si Susie Wiles ni Trump. Rosel Feria, Washington, D.C. para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Susunod, piloto ng isang fire chopper nakaligtas mula sa air crash.
Canada posibleng maging nuclear energy superpower.
At San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama nagtamo ng isang 50-point game. Ang iba pang detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Alam namin ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ang magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka na mangamba. Sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Mailalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa new era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Nasagip ang 2 katao matapos gumuho ang isang tulay sa Crimea. Ayon sa ulat, nagtamo ng sugat ang driver ng truck at isang SUV matapos maipit mula sa debris ng gumuhong tulay. Isinugod naman sa paggamutan ang dalawang nasaktan sa insidente. Inihayag sa lokal na ulat na sinabi ng mga nakasaksing sa insidente na gumuho ang tulay dahil sa bigat ng truck na dumaan ito. Pansamantalang isinara ang daan sa lugar para sa clearing operations.
Nakaiwas naman sa bingit ng kamatayan ng isang piloto ng isang firefighting helicopter sa Chile matapos mag-air crash sa gitna ng operasyon. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, patungo sa komunidad ng Rauco ang helicopter para mag-apula ng wildfire pero tumama ang hélice nito sa kawad ng kuryente. Dito na nawala ng kontrol ang pilotong kinilala na si Luis Abel Colovati. Mabuti na lamang at agad itong nakatalon mula sa kanyang cockpit bago mag-crash ang kanyang sinasakyang chopper. Makikita sa video ang ilang sandali bago ang air crash. Nagtamo lamang ng minor injuries sa katawan si Colovati at kasalukuyang nagpapagaling sa ospital.
Kamunti ka na pong malunod ang isang driver ng SUV matapos mahulog ang sasakyan nito sa isang swimming pool at matrap sa loob nito. Kita sa body cam footage ng Phoenix Police Department ang pagsagip nila sa driver. Pagdating ng mga pulis sa bakuran ay kaagad na rumisponde ang mga ito para sirain ang sunroof ng kotse at mapakawalan ang driver. Ayon sa salaysay ng driver, aksidente niyang napaandar ang kanyang sasakyan kaya dumiretso ito sa pool. Binigyan naman ng paunang lunas ang driver at nasa mabuti ng kalagayan.
Lubos na pinag-iingat ng lokal na pamahalaan ng Pasadena ang lahat ng residente dito matapos makitang pag-gala-gala ang dalawang black bears. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, namataan ang dalawang oso malapit sa basurahan ng Crescenta Valley High School. Agad namang ipinag-utos ng school district officials ang isang shelter-in-place lockdown malapit sa naturang eskwelahan. Pinayuhan na rin ang lahat ng huwag munang lumabas ng gusali para sa kanilang kaligtasan. Sa kabila nito ay tuloy pa rin ang normal na schedule ng klase sa lugar. Kasalukuyan namang hinuhuli ang dalawang hayop ng mga otoridad.
Sa New York, nagdiwang po ang mga taga New York ng Veterans Day. Isang malaking parada ng military personnel na nagmarcha sa 5th Avenue ng Manhattan. Narito ang report mula kay Bernhard Gonzaga.
Dating kilala bilang Armistice Day, kinikilala ng parada ang lahat ng US veterans at active duty members. Sinabi ni Colonel Daniel Celoto kung sino-sino ang ipinagdiriwang sa araw na ito at kung bakit mahalagang kilalanin sila.
Unlike Memorial Day, where we remember those that made the ultimate sacrifice, today we remember everyone that raised their hand and took the oath to defend the nation, whether they served in combat or in office. We were all in the same starting position. We raised our hand somewhere and said, I will put on the uniform of my country to defend it against all enemies. So we remember everyone today that took that step.
Ang petsa 11 ng Nobyembre ay batay sa araw kung kailan nagwakas ang gyera noong 1918. At sa paradang ito, ngayong Veterans Day, hindi nakaligtas ang kontemporaryong politika.
Well, we had a pretty exciting election, so we just have to see that the country takes a turn for the right. I think the most important thing for me is taking care of our veterans and keeping our military strong so we can defend ourselves in case anything ever happens.
Bernhard Gonzaga para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Lalong lumago ang Bitcoin stock sa world market dahil sa tinatawag na Trump euphoria matapos manalo si US President-elect Donald Trump. Pumalo ang value ng Bitcoin na higit $93,000 mula sa $88,000. Higit sa Bitcoin ay tumaas din ang halaga ng ibang cryptocurrencies katulad na lamang ng Ethereum na lumago ng 37% at Dogecoin na lumago ng higit sa 150%. Ayon sa mga analysts, nakikita ng mga crypto investors na matitigil na ang paghigpit ng Securities and Exchange Commission sa mga crypto businesses sa ilalim ng Trump administration. Sa kabila nito, hindi pa rin malinaw sa mga analysts kung ano ang magiging hinaharap ng crypto mining at trading stocks sa susunod na panahon.
Inanunsyo na ng Formula 1 ang isang multi-year partnership sa Nestle kung saan ang Kit Kat ang magiging official chocolate ng motorsports simula sa 2025 season. Layunin ng partnership na pagsamahin ang kasiyahan ng high-speed racing at ang masayang imahe ng Kit Kat na maghahatid ng kapanapanabik na karanasan para sa mga fans ng dalawang brands. Kasunod or kasama sa plano ng collaboration ng mga interactive fan zones sa ilang Grand Prix events at exclusive trackside branding.
Samantalang humingi naman ngayon ng tawad ang kumpanya ng Mattel sa publiko, ito ay matapos nilang magkamali sa packaging ng manika. Inireklamo ng ilang mga customer ang packaging ng Wicked Dolls nang matuklasan nila na ito ay isang adult website. Git nila ay imbes na web address para sa pelikulang Wicked ni Cynthia Erivo at Ariana Grande ay pornography website ang lumalabas. Kasunod dito ay naglabas ang kumpanya ng pahayag sa naging pagkakamali at inabisuhan ang mga magulang na bantayan ang kanilang mga anak. Pakiusap din nila na tanggalin ang packaging at burahin ang link para hindi mapuntahan ang site ng mga batang makakabili. Bukod rito, ang bagong manika ay nirerekomenda sa mga bata mula 4 na taong gulang pataas. Samantala, umiikot naman ang kwento ng pelikulang Wicked sa mundo ng Oz at maging sa buhay ng karakter na si Dorothy Gale.
Upang masolusyonan ang climate crisis na nararanasan ng buong mundo, maraming kumpanya ngayon ang nag-iisip na gamitin ang uranium bilang alternative source ng nuclear energy. Ayon sa isang pananaliksik, ang Athabasca Basin sa northern Saskatchewan ay mayaman sa uranium. Ang halagaan nila ng uranium deposit sa lugar na ito ay aabot ngayon na $4 billion. Subalit sa taong 2028 pa magsisimula ang commercial operations ng uranium deposits dito. Paliwanag ng researchers kung papayagan na ng state regulator ang pagmimina ng uranium sa Athabasca Basin ay posibleng maging pinakamalaking producer ng uranium sa buong mundo ang Canada at maging pangalawa na lamang ang Kazakhstan. Ang uranium ay karaniwang ginagamit ng mga nuclear power plants para sa nuclear fission. Ito ay isang source ng non-renewable energy at pinaniniwalaan ng maraming experts na siyang solusyon sa climate crisis at global warming. Isa na naman po nga big night for the big men ang naganap ngayon sa NBA kung saan nagtala ng career high 50 points si San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama laban sa Washington. Sa Milwaukee naman ay nakakuha ng 59 points si Giannis Antetokounmpo para talunin ang Detroit Pistons sa overtime. Narito po si Vin Pascua para sa play-by-play.
Sa edad na 20 years and 314 days old ay muling nilagay ni Victor Wembanyama ang kanyang pangalan sa kasaysayan ng NBA. Siya kasi ang pang-apat sa pinakabatang manlalarong nakakuha ng 50 points sa isang laro. Kasunod lamang nina Brandon Jennings, LeBron James at Devin Booker. Nagdala siya ng isang malakas na shooting performance kung saan nagtamo siya ng 18 for 29 from the field shooting kasama na rin ng 8 3 points para makuha ang 50 points. Sinundan pa nito ng napakagandang stat line na 50 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks at 2 assists para palanunin ang kanyang kampo laban sa Washington Wizards. Sa parehas na araw na ibinalita ng Spurs office na nagpapagaling si head coach Greg Popovich mula sa isang mild stroke. Natabo na naman niya ang 42-point performance ng Wizard guard na si Jordan Poole para makuha ang panalo ng Spurs 139, Wizards 130. Sa unang beses naman ngayong season ay nakakuha ang Bucks ng dalawang magkakasunod na panalo kung kaya't 4-8 na ang kanilang win-loss record for the season. Binuhat ng 11 overtime points ni Giannis ang kanyang kupunan laban sa Detroit Pistons. Pinakitaan ni Giannis ng isang offensive masterclass ang Detroit Pistons sa kanyang efficient 21 for 34 field goal shooting at 16 out of 17 free throws. Tinapos niya ang overtime thriller na may 59 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks at 2 steals. Para sa Detroit naman ay nagtapos si Cade Cunningham na may 35 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals, ngunit kinulang. Bucks 127, Detroit 120 sa overtime. Para sa Balitang Sports, Vin Pascua para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nako, acting era na ba? Dahil mapapanood ngayon sa inilabas na teaser ng White Lotus Season 3 ang miyembro ng Blackpink na si Lisa. Ikinatuwa ng mga fans na makita si Lisa sa trailer ng palabas kung saan ay kapansin-pansin ang kanyang karakter bilang resort manager na si Mook. Makikita rito masaya at masigla niyang pagbati sa mga bisita ng resort kasama na ang ibang tauhan. Sinabi naman ni Lisa na bagamat bago para sa kanyang pag-acting ay hindi ito nalalayo sa paggawa niya ng mga music video. Ayon sa direktor ng White Lotus ay dapat abangan ang mas malaki at nakababaliw na mga pangyayari sa Season 3. Samantala, nakatakdang ilabas sa susunod na taon ng White Lotus Season 3 kung saan ay makakasama ang mga artista na sina Natasha Rothwell, Jason Isaacs at Amy Lou Wood.
Nagbabalik po ngayon ang American actor na si Tom Cruise. Ito ay matapos ilabas ang trailer ng pelikulang Mission Impossible 8. Nakatakdang ipalabas ang Mission Impossible 8 o ang Final Reckoning bilang ikalawang bahagi ng pelikulang Dead Reckoning noong taong 2023. Matatanda ang ilang beses nang naantala ang pagpapalabas ito dahil sa pandemya at pagproprotesta ng mga SAG-AFTRA actors. Agaw pansin sa trailer ang maaksyong mga eksena ni Cruise mula sa paglangoy at pagpunta niya sa isang sirang submarine. Sinundan pa ito ng walang tigil na pagtakbo, paglipad at pagkahulog nito sa ilang bahagi ng video. Samantala, iikot ang kwento ng pelikula sa karakter ni Cruz na naharap sa matinding laban at panganib ng isang AI program. At noong Martes, nabili na ang Aga Can Emerald sa halagang $8.8 million sa Christie's sa Geneva. Ang Aga Can Emerald ay sadyang bibihirang 37 carats emerald at diamond brooch. Narito ang karagdagang mga detalye mula kay Arnie Aquino.
Ang brooch na ito ay regalo ni Prinsipe Aga Khan sa kanyang bride na si Nina Dyer noong 1960. Namatay si Dyer 5 taon pagkalipas ng kasal at noong 1969, nasaksihan ni Francois Curiel ang pagbenta ng Christie's sa brooch sa Van Cleef & Arpels. Si Curiel ang chairman ngayon ng Christie's Europe. At sa ikalawang pagkakataon sa loob ng 55 taon, pina-auction muli ang Aga Khan Emerald sa Christie's Magnificent Jewel Sale. Ito ay ine-estimang nasa 6 hanggang 8 milyong dolyares.
L'émeraude est extrêmement rare, d'abord par sa taille, 37 carats. Des émeraudes 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 carats, même 10 carats, je ne dis pas que c'est courant, mais enfin on en trouve. Une émeraude de 37 carats, très difficile à trouver, surtout quand elle est de grande qualité. Et celle-là est presque pure. C'est une émeraude de Colombie, qui est une des meilleures mines pour les émeraudes. Elle n'est pas trop verte, elle n'est pas trop légère, elle n'est pas trop foncée. Elle brille énormément et elle est presque pure. Donc, si vous voulez, c'est une échelle, quand une échelle de 1 à 10, 10 étant le plus beau, c'est une 9,9 pour pas vous dire 10.
Dagdag ni Curiel, napakahirap humanap ng 37 carats na emerald lalo na't mataas ang kalidad nito. Ang Aga Khan Emerald ani Curiel ay halos puro. Ayon kay Curiel, ito ay galing sa Colombia na isa sa pinakamahusay na minahan ng emeralds. Hindi masyadong berde, hindi rin masyadong madilim, kumikinang ng matindi at halos puro. Ang emerald na ito, kung gagraduhin ani Curiel, ay nasa 9.9 out of 10. Arnie Aquino para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nako, mahirap man paniwalaan ay naibenta ngayon ang painting ng isang humanoid robot sa halagang $1.32 million. Tinawag ng artist na Aida ang painting na siyang kauna-unang artwork na may kaugnayan sa artificial intelligence. Nagmula naman ang pangalan nito sa Ada Lovelace na kilala bilang unang computer programmer. Dagdag pa rito ay pagpapakita ng magandang koneksyon sa pagitan ng teknolohiya, arts at AI. Binansagan din ito bilang AI painting na nagpapakita sa larawan ng isang ama sa modern computing na si Alan Turing. Bukod rito ay tampok din sa auction ng mga gawa ng generative artists na gaya ng Xcopy, Pac at Refik Anadol.
Mas gusto ko pa rin yung painting ni Nina Richie Alacao Flores.
Ako, inaabangan, napapressure ako. Ito na nga, pag-uwing magpipinta ako, Ricky.
Diba?
Para meron ka ng gawa ko.
Pero grabe, no, lahat na talaga.
Diba,
parang kaya na kaya ni AI.
Tsaka hindi lang yun, parang nalulula ako dun sa fact na lumelebel na rin siya sa presyo ng mga gawang kamay ng totoong tao.
Grabe, diba? Tingnan mo nga si Tom Cruise nga sa Mission Impossible, ang kalaban niya AI din.
Diba? Kasi yun na talaga very relevant to the times.
Yes. Naku. Speaking of relevant times, gusto lang po natin magsabi sa mga kababayan natin dyan sa Cagayan. Agan-anad kayo amin idta, lalo na sa aking mga kabagyan Ida Gonzaga, kin idta Santa Ana. Ako, napakalala nga ng nagaganap sa kanila. One of my relatives said, it's the worst flooding that they have seen in Gonzaga. Siguro nga daw kasi sunod-sunod yung mga bagyong dumarating sa kanila, kaya hindi na kaya ng lupa. Sana makapagpahinga naman sila.
Oo,
diba?
nga, totoo yan. Pero yun na nga, magpapaabot tayo ng tulong sa Parangkaya. Kausap ko nga yung mga kaibigan ko na sana merong drop-off dito sa Metro Manila para sa mga volunteers na maghahatid ng tulong sa Cagayan.
But yan, so abangan nyo po ang mga updates ng balita nga natin papambalita sa ating NET25 social media platforms, Facebook po namin at YouTube. At tandaan po na narito naman kami ni Nina mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes para maghatid ng balita sa anumang dako ng mundo. Muli ako po si Ricky Matay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alacao Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para sa mga balitang nangyari sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles, and you're watching NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. President Marcos Jr. confirmed today that the testimonies of former President Duterte will be considered in the ongoing investigation into extrajudicial killings during his administration's war on drugs.
That is the DOJ's responsibility to continue to examine all bits of comments, of statements, of testimony, and eventually of evidence to see that that justifies a case to be filed.
President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden met for the first time since Trump won back the White House last week. And although longtime political rivals, both men promised a smooth transfer of power in January. The sub-region of the Caribbean comprises numerous islands and countries, including the Republic of Haiti, our next destination. Despite the area's stunning mountainous beauty, residents face significant struggles.
Haiti, moi te témoin résident yo qui a fait face à difficultés qui persistent pour augmenter.
And the news starts now. President Marcos Jr. confirmed today that the testimonies of former President Duterte will be considered in the ongoing investigation into extrajudicial killings during his administration's war on drugs. Marcos explained that the Department of Justice and the Philippine National Police will evaluate Duterte's statements to determine their legal implications and potential for case development.
Well, it's right now that is being done by the PNP. And so we're waiting for their findings. But all of the testimony that was given yesterday really will be taken in and will be assessed to see what in legal terms what is the real meaning and consequence of some of the statements made by PRRD. Now that will result in a case being filed here in the Philippines. We will just have to see. The DOJ will have to make that assessment. We are always monitoring all of these things because the question on EJK has not yet been answered. Who is responsible? And we had some of the mothers of some of the victims that were there, and up to now they have not seen the justice for the murders of their children. And that's still that is the DOJ's responsibility to continue to examine all bits of comments, of statements, of...
President Marcos also reaffirmed the Philippines' position of not cooperating with the International Criminal Court, despite former President Duterte's challenge for the ICC to probe his actions.
Well, was the comment of the Executive Secretary, the former Chief Justice. If yun ang gugustuhin ni PRRD, hindi naman kami haharang doon sa mga ICC. Hindi lang kami tutulong. Ngunit kung pumapayag siya na makipag-usap siya o magpaimbestiga siya sa ICC, nasa kanya yun. Wala nang kaming desisyon doon.
However, he clarified that the country would honor its commitments with the International Criminal Police Organization, or Interpol, if a red notice is issued against Duterte. Meanwhile, Philippine Coast Guard personnel conducted rescue operations in the northern province of Cagayan as Typhoon Usagi battered the region. Usagi brought maximum sustained winds of 165 kilometers per hour, with gusts reaching 275 kilometers per hour as it moved on a northwest track on Thursday evening, according to Pagasa. Usagi, locally known as Ofel, is the fifth storm to hit the country in 3 weeks, forcing thousands of residents to remain in evacuation centers. The Philippines typically records an average of 20 tropical storms annually, often resulting in heavy rain, strong winds, and deadly landslides. Meanwhile, eyewitness footage showed a waterspout swirling off the coast of Mias in Spain amid torrential rains in the region. Spaniards braced for heavy rains and storms just 2 weeks after rain and flash floods prompted rivers to overflow in Valencia and other parts of Spain, killing more than 200 people and destroying homes and property. Now, Spanish weather forecaster IMET issued red alerts for eastern Tarragona and southern Malaga provinces, saying it expected them to receive as much as 180 millimeters of heavy to torrential rain within 12 hours that could cause rivers to overflow and generate flash floods. Emergency services in Malaga have moved 3,000 people from homes at high risk of flooding near the Guadalhorce River, west of the city, and in other areas as citizens to seek higher grounds. All train services in Malaga province were halted, including the high-speed train between Madrid and Malaga, while Malaga's train station was evacuated due to flooding. Meanwhile, drone footage recorded on Wednesday showed India's capital New Delhi and nearby suburbs blanketed in a thick layer of smog. Delhi surpassed Lahore, Pakistan, to become the world's most polluted city according to live rankings by Swiss air quality group IQ Air. Every winter, the capital faces severe pollution as cold air traps dust emissions and smoke from illegal crop burning. Authorities have occasionally closed schools and restricted private vehicle use to combat this crisis. The Weather Office attributed the fog and poor visibility to high humidity, low wind speeds, and cooler temperatures. And IQ Air, which labels an air quality index above 301 as hazardous, recorded a staggering AQI of over 1,000 in Delhi on Wednesday morning. President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden met for the first time since Trump won back the White House last week. And although longtime political rivals, both men promised a smooth transfer of power in January. Elise Danielle reports.
President-elect Donald Trump and outgoing President Joe Biden sat side by side before a roaring fire in the Oval Office. It was a peaceful scene that contradicted tensions between them. Today, beginning to fulfill the promise to a smooth transition, Biden says his administration is looking forward to it.
President-elect and former President,
thank you,
Donald, congratulations.
Thank you.
And looking forward to having, like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So, welcome.
Thank you
Back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Joe.
You're welcome.
Meanwhile, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre described the atmosphere of the meeting.
It was indeed very cordial, very gracious. He wanted you all to know that the president-elect, again, was gracious, came with a detailed set of questions. It was, again, substantive, because it's really important to note, and you're going to hear me continuing to say this over and over again, the importance of having a smooth transition.
During the 2-hour meeting, Jean-Pierre says Biden pushed his priorities for Congress' lame duck session. These include funding the government and providing additional funds for disaster relief. Biden's Chief of Staff Jeff Zients and Trump's Susie Wiles joined the meeting. Elise Danielle, Washington, D.C. for NET25 World News.
Meanwhile, Trump is announcing a series of new high-profile picks. He chose outspoken Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz as his nominee for Attorney General, appointing a close ally who has himself been under Justice Department scrutiny to lead the agency. Take a look.
President-elect Donald Trump on Wednesday named firebrand Republican U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz to be his nominee for Attorney General. In a statement, Trump said, "Matt will end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore Americans' badly shattered faith and confidence in the Justice Department." Gaetz has a history of loudly criticizing the Justice Department and repeating conspiracy theories about it. During a congressional hearing in June, he accused current U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland of working behind the scenes in Trump's New York hush money case without presenting any evidence.
But you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with anything you just said.
His appointment is subject to confirmation by the Republican majority Senate. Trump's inner circle has described the Attorney General as the most important member of the administration after Trump himself. Key to his plans to carry out mass deportations, pardon January 6 rioters, and seek retribution against those who prosecuted him over the past 4 years. Gaetz, like Trump, has been the subject of government investigations. A U.S. House committee has spent 3 years looking into him over allegations of ethical lapses, including sexual misconduct and illicit drug use by the 4-term Northwest Florida congressman. The Department of Justice reportedly conducted an investigation as well, but decided not to charge him.
Former President Donald Trump's potential picks for key administration roles are stirring concerns about the future of U.S.-China relations. Now, experts are cautioning that these appointments could add new layers of complexity to an already delicate relationship.
Among the names floated, Marco Rubio as Secretary of State stands out, especially in Beijing. Rubio, a leading China critic in the Senate, was sanctioned by China back in 2020 for his vocal stance on Hong Kong.
Recent announcement of the senior officials that Trump has made will make it very difficult for the US and China to maintain a very good relationship at the working level. If people like Marcus Rubio is confirmed as the Secretary of State for the United States, then it will pose a significant challenge for China, not least because China will have to lift its sanctions against Rubio. Otherwise, they cannot talk to the US Secretary of State, which is simply not an acceptable situation for either country to be in. But even if they are able to do that, conversations between Rubio and Wang Yi are not going to be easy. And here we are not just looking at one single senior US official at the working level engaging with China. We have a whole range of other appointments, whether we're talking about on the trade side, with Robert Lighthizer being named by Trump as well.
With such diplomatic shifts, Chinese President Xi Jinping might feel pressured to adjust his strategy. Rather than following conventional channels, he may look to establish a more direct rapport with Trump himself.
I think what we are going to see as a result is that the Chinese government are likely to put Xi Jinping to engage directly with Donald Trump much more than has happened under the Biden administration. Xi believes that he could work his magic on Donald Trump as he had done in the first Trump administration.
And of course, there's Elon Musk. With Tesla's major operations in Shanghai, Musk could become an unexpected factor in US-China relations.
The Chinese government has extremely good working relationship with Elon Musk because of the deal they made over the Shanghai mega factory for Tesla. I think they still believe that they can work their magic on Elon Musk. And if I am right, Mr. Musk so far has a tendency to demonstrate that Elon Musk is first and foremost for Elon Musk. And therefore, there is more scope for the Chinese government to try to attempt to use Elon Musk as a friendly voice in the Trump administration to moderate the Trump administration's policy towards China. But then we have to get back into the reality of a Trump administration, which is that Donald Trump is first and foremost about Donald Trump. And Elon Musk is an invited guest who is meant to do things for Trump. And if there is a difference between what is best for Trump and what is best for Musk, Trump wins every time.
On trade, experts say Trump's hardline approach to China is unlikely to ease even with Musk's connections.
Oh, I think tariff and a much tougher trade approach towards China under the second Trump administration is a given. I mean, whatever you think about Donald Trump, most of the time he does what he says. And it's very, very clear that he really loves tariffs. The question therefore really is how high the China tariff will be and how broad it will be, and whether the presence of Elon Musk in the Trump administration may result in an exception being made to Tesla vehicles produced in China. But the more general relaxation of Chinese EVs to the United States, simply because Elon Musk is so much associated with EVs, is, I think, a bit too optimistic. And indeed, from Elon Musk's perspective, there is probably nothing to the advantage of him or to Tesla for a general relaxation on the import restrictions against Chinese EVs generally. there's always a case to be made that Tesla is an American brand. It just happens to have been made with a substantial part in China. So I think we are looking at exceptions rather than general relaxation of tariff on something like EV.
And in a major shift, after 18 years, the U.S. Senate will soon be led by a new Republican leader. Senator John Thune from South Dakota was chosen by his Republican colleagues in a secret ballot to succeed Mitch McConnell. Now, Thune has already signaled the Senate's intent to thoroughly review and confirm Trump's nominees.
The Senate, designed by the founders to give voice to the minority, will continue to uphold this principle under Thune's leadership.
Well, I mean, the Senate, as you know, is by the founders' design, a place where the minority has a voice in our process, and we will do the job that the founders intended us to do in the United States Senate, and that the American people intend us to do. And that, right now, after this mandate election coming out of the American people, is to work with this president on an agenda that unwinds a lot of the damage of the Biden-Harris-Schumer agenda, and puts in place new policies that will move our country forward in a different direction.
Meanwhile, House Republicans secured a majority in the House with 218 seats. Trump celebrated the victory alongside House Republicans.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very nice gathering. Isn't it nice to win? It's nice to win. It's always nice to win. A lot of good friends in this room. So you know we had like historic kind of numbers, especially for the president, but we won't get into that.
Calling it a historic result, he was joined by his ally, Elon Musk, who received applause from Republican lawmakers. Also, House Republicans selected Mike Johnson of Louisiana as their nominee for Speaker. Johnson has consistently supported Trump, including his stance following the events of January 6, 2021.
We began with President Trump, and he came to visit us. It was a bit of a pep rally. Everybody feels very confident, very encouraged about the days ahead, and he gave us a very inspirational message, and he talked about the importance of maintaining unity and standing with this leadership team to go forward. It was very well received, and that set the tone for our day, and we had a very productive day together as a Republican conference, and the theme that you'll hear over and over from all of our members across the conference is that we are unified and energized and ready to go. So serious times call for serious leadership. It's going to be a policy agenda-driven administration and a Congress, and you've heard us say many times that it could be, I believe it will be, the most consequential Congress in the modern era.
Could Donald Trump be the driving force behind Bitcoin's latest bull run? The cryptocurrency has reached a new peak of $90,000 as investor sentiment rises in anticipation of a more supportive regulatory environment under the coming U.S. administration.
Bitcoin broke through the $90,000 level to hit a new all-time high on Wednesday. It was holding at around that mark in early Asian trades the following day. The world's biggest cryptocurrency has become one of the most eye-catching market movers in the week since the election of Donald Trump, gaining around a third in value since November 5th.
Hello, Bitcoiners. Thank you very much. Hello. It's good
Bitcoin investors expect Trump's administration to be crypto-friendly. The president-elect embraced digital assets during his campaign, promising to make the United States the, quote, crypto capital of the planet, and to accumulate a national stockpile of Bitcoin.
And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen.
Crypto investors see an end to increased scrutiny under U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler, whom Trump has said he will replace. Trump also unveiled a new crypto business of his own in September called World Liberty Financial. The recent crypto euphoria has extended across the crypto landscape, with smaller tokens such as Ether also seeing big gains. Dogecoin, promoted by Trump ally and now administration appointee Elon Musk, has rocketed around 150% since Election Day. However, skeptics warn that all such digital assets remain very volatile and could fall as fast as they've risen.
So when we think about Bitcoin, it's talking to a value manager, it's something that we kind of rejected for years, but we are starting to see more of a legitimacy of Bitcoin. If you think about it as an alternative to the US dollar, which most people think of it as. And so, one of the big concerns is that the US has been overspending. And so, it does still hold that position as the reserve currency, but what are the alternatives? Traditionally, it's been gold. And now we have digital gold with Bitcoin. So I think if you think about the election and the Trump administration, they've kind of given it even more legitimacy. And we've seen a huge rally. Bitcoin had gone sideways for most of this year. And you always feel a little bit concerned deep down. You don't want this just to be animal spirits. You want something sustainable and something solid behind it. And I think we are starting to get a little more solid. Now, the other thing that stinks is that Dogecoin is also up like 95% since the election. We don't want to get to that silly phase that we had in 2021. That was just ridiculous and it was fake. And a lot of people lost money on the downside. But what we want is, again, something tangible, something real. And so far, at least with Bitcoin, it feels more real than it has in the past. Now, all these other speculative coins, and hopefully we don't get back to the SPAC market, for example. All of that was just speculation and money flow. And we're going to find out whether it's the stock market, whether it's crypto. We're going to find out over the next few years what is real and what's not. And our job as investors is to invest in things that have tangible, real value.
Now, China is going big at its Zhuhai Air Show, featuring a powerful display of cutting-edge aircraft, drones, and naval technology. But what are the showstoppers this year? Front and center is China's J-35A stealth fighter jet, touted as Beijing's answer to America's F-35. And in a surprising twist, Russia's Su-57 stealth jet is also on display, sparking interest worldwide. So why is a Russian jet here? And what message is China hoping to send? Take a look.
The J-35A, China's latest fifth-generation stealth fighter, is built to evade radar, gather intelligence, and strike at supersonic speeds. With a design similar to the American F-35, could this jet be more than just a competitor? And the story goes deeper. Reports of cyber intrusion suggest it might be modeled directly from U.S. technology. The air show isn't just about air power either. For the first time, it includes a dedicated section for China's expanding naval capabilities, with a fleet of unmanned drones and ships on display, including the killer whale drone vessel. Could these advancements signal China's readiness for any potential conflict in the South China Sea? The presence of Russia's Su-57, flown by a Russian pilot, is a strong signal of the close partnership between Moscow and Beijing. Russian National Security Council head Sergei Shoigu is attending, underscoring the alliance between the two nations. But what does this growing partnership mean for the rest of the world? Beneath the spectacle, China has strategic goals. Holding just 5.8% of the global arms market, compared to the US's 42%, could China emerge as a significant global arms supplier? By targeting countries in the global south and presenting a new alternative to Western weaponry, Beijing is hoping to bridge that gap. This year's Zhuhai Air Show is about more than just high-tech displays. Could it be the first step toward Xi Jinping's vision of a world-class military by 2050? And as China pushes to position itself as a global arms exporter, could this exhibition be a major turning point in achieving its ambitions?
And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back.
Join us for an insightful episode as we sit down with Luis Chavit-Singson, the president and chairman of LCS Group of Companies, a powerhouse in diversified industries. Discover how LCS built its expansive portfolio and learn valuable strategies for MSMEs looking to scale, diversify, and innovate.
Money is not yours until you spend it. Enjoy life while you can. Yung mga iba, matanda na, saka lang gumagastos.
Open for business with Cesar Vallejos, Sunday, 9 p.m.
Sa NET25.
The sub-region of the Caribbean comprises numerous islands and countries, including the Republic of Haiti, our next destination. Despite the area's stunning mountainous beauty, residents face significant struggles. Let's discover how the Church of Christ was able to help. Mary Milka Joseph gives us that report.
C'est un pays dans Caraïbes là qui partage île espagnole là avec République dominicaine. C'est le troisième plus grand pays dans Caraïbes là avec une température tropicale remplie avec terrain montagneux et puis avec une culture unique identifiée par tradition française et africaine. Et puis dans mi-temps tout, réalité en pile résident yo, c'est détresse. Depuis le tremblement de terre qui était fait dans l'année 2010, le pays a surmonté un paquet de problèmes pour juste journée aujourd'hui. Et puis la guerre avec conflit politique qui contribuait ensemble avec prix bagaille qui a augmenté, avec besoin nécessaires, Haïtiens a fait face avec ça qui gagne pour avec chômage, pauvreté et puis avec même violence.
Pendant moi upgrade en Haïti, moi été témoin résident qui a fait face à difficultés qui passent par augmenter, tant qu'il y a un niveau de pauvreté qui est haut à travers tout le pays, puis mal toujours par agitation sociale et calamité la nature, tant que tremblement de terre.
Résident yo tant que Bernadette, yon maman célibataire qui a vivre depuis toute ville dans le pays Haïti, li te fait expérience avec réalité la vie difficile qui gagne ici.
Nous vin une catastrophe dans le pays et puis tout bandi vin prendre zone là. Moi vin sauver ensemble avec trois petits moyens sans que nous pas récupérer rien dans caille là. Même business moi te gagné tout moi perdu. Si moun pas à l'école, moun pas capable sortir.
Pendant qu'on reconnaît la situation ça en Haïti, tout membre de l'Église du Christ te mettait ensemble une série d'activités pour capable aider revivre résidents yo qui a souffert. Dans Grand Wave, une commune qui est située dans le sud-ouest pays Haïti, des centaines de paquets étaient remplis avec du riz, l'huile, avec l'autre qualité manger qui pas péri et distribué. Pour yo capable bailler plus la vie avec résidents yo, tant que Bernadette, pour yo te capable joindre assez pour yo manger dans jour qui te gen pour venir.
Pour moi te sentir content que me en joie parce que même l'état a moyen pour manger.
Félix Manalo Fondation fait un pile victoire concernant soins pour l'humanité.
Je merci, c'est bien parce que ça s'est acheté comme d'acheter. Dans le moment, je vais gagner moins.
Moi, ça c'est très bien. Parce que moi, pas de gain, moi, recevoir, moi, content.
C'était un cadeau, on était dit que c'était un cadeau que je joint, qui était une satisfaction pour moi.
Et dans le quartier voisin nous qui c'est Ravine Park, soit ça t'est arrivé là pour être capable d'aider les résidents.
Vraiment dit pour aider un peu le grand goût et puis humanitaire ça pour être voué pour le peuple là, c'est un bel geste pour l'église là. Parce que il y a d'autres églises qui ne font pas ça. Ils font offrande de l'église du Christ, ils prennent, ils occupent, ils font même l'église là. C'est ça que moi je dis bon Dieu merci pour servir la vie frère Edouard de Manalo, pour bon Dieu protéger dans tout ça l'a fait, bon Dieu béni.
grandi en Haïti, moi te témoin résident yo qui a fait face à difficultés qui passent par augmenter, tant pour yon niveau pauvreté qui haut à travers tout pays, puis mal toujours par agitation sociale à calamité la nature, tant pour tremblement de terre.
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.